Hello and welcome to GTO Coach and Go. I'm Jim Delleman with Group Travel Odyssey. I want to thank you for joining us again today. We've got some really great information that we're going to be sharing with you in just a few moments. But first, I want to remind you, if you've not done so yet, if you are new with us here, or if you just haven't done it, please make sure if you're watching us on YouTube to hit that subscribe button down below so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you ring the bell, you'll be notified anytime we have new content on our YouTube channel as well. You can also connect with us on LinkedIn at Group Travel Odyssey, and make sure to like and follow the Group Travel Odyssey Facebook page. Social media, that's where we're at today. So today we're going to be talking about member engagement in GTO. GTO is a system that is set up to help you become more efficient in your day-to-day business. But there's so much more that you can do. There's so much more engagement that our membership can have. And I'm going to be bringing on my fellow resident expert when it comes to sales and member engagement, our sales and member engagement expert, Angelica Kennedy. Hey, Angelica.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Good. I'm good. It's good to see you.
Same.
And just just so everybody knows, Angelica and I are, of course, we all work remotely because that's the joy of industry right now, is that you can work remotely. But we both live in Queens, but we're still working remotely, even though we're just a hop, skip, and a jump away from each other. But
I definitely see your face on video more than I do in real life.
It's very true. It's the nature of the beast, I guess, these days. But so today we're going to start talking a little bit about member engagement in GTO. So Angelica, what do you think the importance is for members to become more engaged, not only with GTO, but even with the GTO team?
I mean, I think the entire premise of GTO, besides being a software that makes your job easier as a tour operator, the idea or the original premise of it was to elevate the tour community and the tourism and hospitality community. And so I think we built this product knowing that we wanted it to be more than just one thing, knowing that we wanted to bring people together, bring the industry together, help sort of, live the value of the expression, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so we have lots of different apps and features that do that. And that's one of my favorite things about working here, actually.
Well, and it's funny because you used the boats and the Odyssey method of explaining. And just to let you all know, you will notice that Angelica and I used to be called community architects, but now we are sales and member engagement experts. And so we are the team that will take you through this entire process, the entire Odyssey. We will take you through this and help you get set up. We will help you learn better ways to engage the system as well. But it is something that is pretty easy for you to do. Once you get up and running on the system, there are so many ways that you can increase your efficiency. You can give yourself more time by becoming a little more automatic with the system and connecting system parts together a little bit more, just so you have the opportunity to flow, to let everything flow a little bit more. One of the first things we wanted to talk about are ways that you can engage the system itself a little bit more. There are things that have happened over this past year and a half even, that we've created portals. We've created different ways for members and for group leaders and for tour directors to be able to connect together through using the GTO system. And the first one we wanted to talk a little bit about today was Passenger Manager. And Passenger Manager is the one that takes care of your reservations. So any of the reservations that come in from your customers and for your traveling passengers, all of that information comes into the passenger management system. So whether you're using a WeTravel, or whether you're entering the information yourself, or whether you're using our own registration part of the portal, you get that information within the system. We had a lot of people ask us, what can I do to have an actual passenger CRM? We want to keep track of the people who are traveling with us regularly. And especially our operator members that are dealing with retail sales, they're not necessarily putting together a preformed group, but they've got a retail group and they want to keep track of all of the people that have registered and all of the people that travel, because they realize that a lot of them are traveling time and again. So we have created a passenger CRM in Passenger Manager. So you can track all of those passengers, you can track all of the customers, you can track everybody that has booked with you. You can also have the history of the trips that they take. So that way you can pull up their record, you can see how frequently they've traveled with you and all of that information. So that is all part of Passenger Manager now. As well as that, for those of you who are using Passenger Manager, that is a place where you can put together your bus manifest, your airplane manifest. You can put together your busing lists, your rooming lists. One of the things that we also have connected is what's called a group leader portal. For your group leaders, your teachers, anybody who you have that has the knowledge of the group, you can give them a way to connect so that way they can build a rooming list. So they can be in charge of putting that rooming list together since they know the people in their group that are traveling. Then it goes right into our Passenger Manager and it's there. So, I love our Passenger Manager because it gives it gives so much more information, not just the generality of the group, but you're getting a lot more. And have you been asked a lot during your demos and stuff, Angelica, about tracking passengers?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think more and more we're seeing prospective members and current members who have repeat passengers who are coming on board. And so that new app or portal came as a you asked, we answered kind of response, I think, for sure. The need is there. And I think some of the features we've included are really nice, like this idea that if a passenger needs to cancel a trip, there's a credit that's held in the system that they can utilize on a future trip, for example. So there are ways of tracking transaction histories and other relevant and pertinent passenger data for those folks that have repeat clients, which is really nice.
And it's great. And I mean, just for those of you out there who may be tuning in, Angelica's history is on the tour operator side. She has, with as youthful as she looks, she has decades of experience in the tour operator realm. But, so I mean, she understands what is needed. She understands what tour operators are looking for as far as is trying to keep track of that information. And I'm sure you've seen a change in the way that groups are traveling as well over the past 20 years. There was a time when you and I both worked in this industry and almost everything was preformed groups. That time seems to have, I don't want to say past, but it has changed quite a bit. I know a lot of our operators, the majority of their work is retail, but they're still putting groups together, but then people can join those groups. Yeah. GTO gives you the opportunity to do that. So, that's one of the things that's fantastic. And again, we're going to be hitting this home quite a bit. As Angelica said, a lot of this information, the passenger CRM, even the group leader portal, these were developed by our fantastic development team because of feedback that you gave. So for those members out there, keep giving us the feedback, because a lot of the tweaks that we do to the system, a lot of the new programming that's put into the system is because of you. You've requested it. So our team then puts that on the development pipeline and it gets rolled out. A nice thing is, if it's rolled out to everybody like all of these products have been, there's no charge. So we just go ahead, if you're a GTO member, if something new comes into the system, we roll it out. So it's one of the things that sets us apart a little bit, I think, from other people, is we try not to charge extra for a lot of this stuff like that, because we just, elevating group travel and creating a global group travel community, it's a goal. It's something that we're very passionate about. And so
that's it. You're tying it right back to this idea of rising tides, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Our next one is the On the Road application. And our On the Road app is the place that the tour operator members can go in and keep track of all of their tour directors, their schedules, their availabilities, their contact information, trip information, all of that. Now, it seems like an incredibly daunting task for a tour operator to have to keep track of all of that. But what have we done to make that easier for them, Angelica?
Well, we have two facets to this, right? And I want to distinguish the difference between an app and a portal for us, so since you have both
Yes.
of them listed, right? So the On the Road app is the back end version that you use to keep track as a tour operator of everything that has to do with your groups hitting the road, including tour directors and final itineraries. Once that is released as a tour director packet, that ends up in the tour director portal, which your tour director has access to. So that is front end facing. So anytime we have something that's a portal, it's either a URL or a website or an application that somebody that works with you is using, whether it's a passenger or a customer or a tour director and so on. And so those two tie and interface beautifully in that you can communicate everything through the app that they need to know, and it gets sent. And because it's cloud-based, all of those updates happen in the moment, right? That tour director can access those. If you need to make a change while a group is on the road, right? They receive that information immediately while they're standing in line waiting to pick up tickets. If you need to add somebody at the last minute, you do that, you push it through and they receive it. And
Absolutely.
so that's the back end, front end facing sort of symbiosis of those two applications and portals.
And another thing I think that operators need to be aware of is that they don't have to put the schedules in. The tour directors can sign up on that tour director portal absolutely free. They don't have access to your GTO system, but what happens is it feeds their information into GTO, into your GTO system. So they put their availability and their schedule and stuff like that in, which goes onto your master calendar. Then when you pull them up, you're going to be able to see whenever they're available. You can click on them then and add them to a trip. It sends the request out to them. They will see that they've been requested for a trip. They can either accept or decline that, and then that comes back to you. And it really makes it rather seamless.
And they're able to add their licenses and their areas of expertise too, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Absolutely. Areas of expertise, any licenses that they have, their closest airports that they can travel to and from, their travel information, their travel numbers and stuff like that that they have. All of that information they can go ahead and put in their profile, which then gets put into the On the Road app. So that way, as they pull that information up, they can go ahead and see, oh, this person's in DC already and they're certified in DC. We can go ahead and add them in. So again, it's something that the operators, anybody who works as a tour director for specific operators, go ahead and have them sign in to that tour director portal and log in so they can go ahead and start updating all their information. It's going to make your spring, especially student travel companies, your spring student travel season is going to be much more calm if you let them take care of that entering of their schedule and stuff like that. So that way you can just go ahead and assign those tour directors as well.
Yeah.
So next on, and this is something we're rather excited about. In group accounting, our group accounting system basically allows you to account in GTO for your group income outflow. You can actually do a P&L afterwards, but it has run separately from your banking accounting system. Well, now we do have the ability to connect to QuickBooks Live, the online version, not the desktop version, but the online version. I think they're going to be stopping supporting the desktop version anyway, which I know a lot of software companies have done. However, we do now have the ability to connect group accounting and your QuickBooks Live account together. So that way, as you enter information into our GTO group accounting system, it shoots it over to your QuickBooks system, and you don't have to double enter any of that information.
Woohoo!
I know. And it's something, again, people have asked and asked and asked. And we're just happy that it's finally happened and it's been set up for a couple of our companies. For those of you who may need to have that set up, please reach out to any of us at GTO and we will go ahead and get that taken care of. So, Corey's been working tirelessly on getting that information in and running. It's one of those things that, again, Group accounting was one of the very, very few places that anything had to be duplicated in the whole group travel planning process. And it wasn't even a matter of it being done within our system. It just had to be duplicated outside of our system. So the fact that that's been connected together so that just flows automatically is huge.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that happened this year. So.
Oh, I know. Yep. And, member engagement through GTO topic relevance for the big numbers nerd that I am, right? Coming from the tour operator world, when I used to sit with my Excel spreadsheets and crunch numbers, I want to do a little shout out to our profit and loss sheets, they're just bar none. Seriously, I've never seen anything so robust and comprehensive in my life, and what an incredible time saver it is. It was one of the things that wowed me the most when I was thinking of joining you guys. So yeah, and just want to give that a little bit of a moment of glory because it deserves it.
And it literally is with the press of a button. There's a trip audit button, and you press that button after everything is done with the trip, and it runs in the background and takes care of everything. And you get a very detailed list of income, outflow, and profit.
Yeah.
So
not to mention the cost sheet when you're pricing things out, like during the quoting process too, right? I can talk about it forever, but we're on limited time.
Excellent. And this next one that we're bringing up is something we're very, very proud of. And that is our hosted supplier database, the supplier manager. And we were just speaking before this, and Angelica, how many suppliers do we have in our hosted supplier database now?
I believe Sierra and her team have officially celebrated the milestone of over 25,000 suppliers and accounting.
That is it, and it's truly remarkable because I do remember back in the beginning days when we were like, we're up to 3,000, and it seemed like a massive amount. And 25,000 suppliers, their products, and their prices. And quarterly, Sierra and her team reach out to a huge chunk of them, because as we get closer to expiration dates, as we get closer to the end of valid dates for group pricing, we reach out so that way we can constantly have the most up-to-date information for group tour operator pricing for all of these suppliers. Also, the longer we're around, the more that the suppliers realize that they need to get their information to us. So a lot of times it is happening a little more speedily now than it used to. And there are times when they will send it to us without us even asking. We would love to have that happen even more. And also, and this is something I don't have listed here, but there is a supplier portal, yet another portal for suppliers. They can sign up on the supplier portal, and then they can go in and enter new information, and they can enter new pricing, new products, things like that. And then it shoots over to Sierra and her team. They make sure everything's entered correctly, and it goes live. So, again, there are ways that as our suppliers want to be involved more, there are ways for them to do that and to continue to be, involved.
Yeah.
And what else do we have? This is another one of my favorites here. So,
are we talking about community forum?
No. Trade shows.
Oh, of course, the trade show app. My goodness, I'm skipping ahead.
That's okay.
Yes. So this is one of the absolute nicest features, in my opinion. So we have a trade show app. For those of you who don't know, I do know that we have a couple of members who use it already. Good for you guys for the massive time saver.
Part of our supplier manager. So, and that's the thing.
Exactly. It's fantastic. Brilliant. So we can log all of your trade show appointments, and you can take notes right in the trade show app and consolidate all that information in there. And then we verify all of that for you, and it all gets plugged into our supplier manager. And that way you're saving huge amounts of time in terms of updating all of your prices and all of your products and everything. Not to mention the fact that you now have sales tracking in a completely different way.
And for those of you who have gotten used to the massive notebooks of profile sheets, you don't need those anymore, because in this trade show appointment area, you have places that you can take a photo and upload it, or scan and upload it. So you can go ahead and put that information in and not have to take that or ship that book back home with you. It automatically gets put in the system then. And the thing that's interesting is not only for operators that are also suppliers, you can still run your appointments on both sides. So
Yeah.
we as a tech provider, we run all of our appointments at all of our trade shows through this system as well. The great thing about it is I have really bad handwriting, which, you can see. I have really bad handwriting. So I don't have to deal with that because I will, even on my phone, I will type in the notes from each of my appointments. I put pre-show notes, post-appointment notes in. It automatically gets shot into the system. So if I go into a specific trade show, for example, CITA in August, when I was done with that, all of my notes, all of my appointments, they were all in there. They were uploaded into the system, and they will be living there under CITA 2024 forever. So it's great. You don't have to worry about taking the notes. We had several of our member companies that were sitting there with their laptops at the appointments and entering the information, and they would hit save. And when they hit save, they would go on to the next appointment. And for those of you who sit there for several days and have back to back hundreds of appointments, it makes it much easier for you to go ahead and put appointments away and not have to worry about later on that evening going in and trying to remember your 14th meeting of the day and what you actually said instead of the little chicken scratch that I actually have on my sheet here. So love the whole trade show appointment part of things. And again, if you have not used it, contact us and let us know. It's one of my favorites. And as Angelica said, we will upload the appointments. When you get your appointment list, we'll upload it into the system for you. So that way, when you log in to GTO and you go to Supplier Manager, you pull up your trade show, you pull up your appointments are already there, and you just manage your entire trade show through that. So
all part of the customer service of Group Travel Odyssey. Yep. And a prime example of practicing what we preach. The fact that I used it when I was at ABA last year, it was a game changer for sure. Yeah. I think it is very much a hidden gem that we don't talk about often enough, and really does facilitate trade shows in general, or any sales calls for that matter. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that information then lives in the system for you, so you can go back and not have to look for the notebook, not have to do any of that. It's all there. So if you want to go to ABA from 2023, you can pull up ABA 2023 and take a look at the appointment and the notes and stuff, because they'll all be there in your GTO system. So love that. Next up, we also have a underutilized app, I would say, and that is our community forum. I love the idea behind the community forum. It gives our members a place to kind of have it's kind of like a bulletin board, for lack of a better term, for those of us who remember what bulletin boards were. It gives a place for you to post if you're traveling to a new destination and you don't know anything about that destination. You can actually post something, so all of the rest of the member companies can go see it, and if they travel there, they can give you pointers and tips. We put in the weekly weekly updates in there. We put in all of the GTO fast breaks are in there. If you want new information on things built in our system, there's a place in community forum for you to do that. Announcements. Whenever Sierra gets an emergency announcement on pricing changes or anything like that, it automatically posts in community forum, which also then goes to your homepage in GTO. So community forum is a place that holds a lot of information. And again, some people are utilizing it, some people don't utilize it. But one of the things that I like is it gives members a place to actually engage each other.
Yeah.
In a safe space.
It's the only place where members are really engaging with each other, since everything else is protected. But that's the one area where you can reach out and actually ask for help. Yeah. Right. Because as much as we are competitors. And as a former tour operator, I very much respect that we're all trying to get a piece of the pie, right? There's
Yep.
so many times that we also are collaborating and partnering with things. Look at Travel Alliance Partners, for example, right? Where
Yep.
people are dipping into each other's trips and helping each other grow. Community Forum is kind of our version of that, right? Where you can help each other all while maintaining your own separate businesses and separation of data and security, right?
Yeah. And as you know, as we were saying, one of our big goals is to create a global group travel community.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is if we're working together to make sure that group travel is continuing to build. We all know how important group travel is, but this is just kind of giving yet another tool that you guys can all work together. You can help each other out, and there are people who do receptive work in specific areas. So if you would rather work with one of the receptives and they're on the system, they will reach out to you. You guys can make those connections again in a safe space. So that's a fun thing. Within our system, there's so much more, but we want to also briefly touch on some of the ways that you can engage with the GTO team. Ways to learn more about the system, ways to just pick our brains, do whatever you want to do with that. And first up is office hours. Many of you meet with Kara on a weekly basis. Some of you meet with Corey on a weekly basis. We're here for you. Once you're done with that initial training, that's not it. We're going to be here. We have office hours set up. We have several other programs, media programs and stuff that we put out there because, again, we want to make sure you have all the tools you need to work efficiently and easily, get more time, build your business, all of that fun stuff. So we want to help, and we will be involved. We will continue to be involved. So that's one of the nice things. It's one of the things that makes me the happiest about GTO.
And it's worth noting, Jim, that if you can't wait until office hours and you need help, we're always here, right? You can email us, you can pick up the phone, you have our cell phone numbers, you can text us. We will help you solve things anytime you need it, not just during office hours. Office hours are meant to be a set time and space that is 100% dedicated to you every week, but you're not limited to just office hours.
Right. Right. And don't ever feel that you are,
Exactly. And it's also worth noting that all of that is free. We do not charge for tech support or office hours or anything like that, right? I know, we very rarely talk about comparing ourselves to other software companies because we all are distinct and we have different advantages and disadvantages. But one of the things that I'm really proud of is that we don't just train you, put stuff on your computers and then step away. And then if you need help, it's, $99 an hour. It doesn't work like that with us, right? We continue to make sure that this works for you as well as it possibly can for as long as it possibly can without ever charging you an hourly rate for tech support or anything like that.
Right. We want you to have the tools. We do. And I love our system. We love our system. So we truly believe in it. So therefore, we want to help you learn it and be as psyched about it as we are. So that's us. Also, as you are currently watching, this is a GTO Coach and Go session. We do these every other week. So there are times when Angelica, myself, Corey, Sierra, Brian, people will get on here. Kara comes on and we talk about different aspects of the system. We will train on new functionality that we have coming out. If we release something that's new, Corey will come on and explain and show how it happens. If you need these Coach and Go sessions, they can be found in one of two places. You can go to our YouTube channel and you will find them all there. You can also find them in the media section of Community Forum. So we try to make it an easy place for you to go ahead and find the links to all of those as well. The weeks that we don't do Coach and Go, we do GTO Fast Break. GTO Fast Break is a really fast 5-minute or less video just explaining something a little bit clearer. If we have changed a button, even if it's a matter of we've changed where the location of a button is on a page, if we have to do that because the system requires it, we'll make sure to release that information so that way you're all aware of it. So those are the media programs that we have as well. Again, found on Community Forum. So you'll be able to find them there. You'll be able to find them on YouTube as well. For those of you who may be just entering this industry, if you are a brand new group tour operator and don't really know much about what all of that entails, we do have an upcoming tour operator course that will star somebody who's very near and dear to us on this screen right now, Angelica Kennedy. So it's how many lessons do we have in this, or how many classes? It's 8?
A lot. I think it's 5 chapters.
5 chapters.
And I think it's maybe 38 mini lessons total, if I remember correctly. And it is everything from the premise behind this tour operator course was the idea that most of us don't actually have time as a human resources person or as a GM or as a director of ops or what have you to really give people a deep dive as to what it means to work in the tour operator community. Oftentimes it's, 3 to 5 days of training and then boom, sink or swim, right? And so this really delves into much more than just what it's like to write an Excel or a Word or what have you. It's what does it mean? What does a group microculture mean? What does it mean to be on the road? How do you avoid burnout? How do you work collaboratively post-pandemic? And what is the difference between in-person and remote? And what are the different acronyms that we need to learn? And how do you use room reading skills appropriately in the industry, and writing good emails and negotiating and contracting? All of those things that you need to know to work efficiently for a tour operator are all included in that course, and are supposed to sort of hold the hand of any new employee or career changer that you might be bringing on. So that was the idea behind it.
And if you do need more information on that, you can contact Angelica, Angelica at gtonetwork.com. That's also on the website. So if you didn't get that, you go to our website, GTO, grouptraveledyssey.com, and you will be able to find all of our email and contact information on there as well. Mm-hmm. So it's something we're very excited about, and teaching people what the different markets are in the group travel community, all of that. There's so much that goes into it, a lot of minutia. So we've also discussed member feedback, hugely important to us. A lot of the stuff that Angelica and I talked about today was developed because of the feedback that we got from our members. Very simply.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And we touched upon it earlier too, that a lot of the apps have literally come out of a need for things that our current members or prospective members have said they wanted, Right. So yeah, sometimes we onboard somebody with the promise that we're going to create something for them, and we always do. So yeah, feedback is critical to our success and yours. So.
And that's the thing. If there are things that you do within your day-to-day operations or within your business model that you would like to see in GTO, let us know. Give us some feedback. Let us know that. We also have a referral program for those of you who are current members and refer somebody to us that signs on with us. We have a financial reward for your company, which will help in your next installment that you have with GTO. So, more information on that. I send that information out during the weekly updates that I send out on Mondays. But if you want to talk a little bit more about it, contact me, contact Angelica, and we can tell you a little bit more about the GTO referral program. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. If you love working with us and you think that somebody else might benefit from working with us, I would hope that you would refer them just because you think it's great and that they need it. But now there's an added value to it.
Absolutely. And I think one of the last things we want to talk about, we've talked about feedback and that we're always involved. I like to call it the lifetime GTO team support. We're not going anywhere. Angelica and I tell people during demos and contracting, and even Kara during training, that we like to think of ourselves as the back-end employees that you have working behind the scenes for you. we're always going to be here. Once you're trained and up and running on the system, we're still here. We're still working for you. We will continually put in your trade show appointments. We will make sure that as you request new suppliers that they're put in. There are so many things behind the scenes that we're doing for each of our member companies, and we are always going to do that. So our customer service does not end, period. You have a lifetime of GTO team support at your fingertips. And so don't ever hesitate to contact us. One of our members said to me, I think I call you too often. And I'm like, no, you don't. You call us whenever you want to, email us whenever you want to. We're here for you. That's part of what we offer. It's part of one of the benefits of being a GTO member is that you get us, you get all of us. And so we're always going to be here for you.
Yeah. Yep. And it's worth noting that in terms of the customer service team, that is us, right? We may be selling software, but we come from many, many, many years of working in tourism and hospitality, either on the tour operator side or the supplier side, or as former tour directors or what have you. So we may know tech now, but we started on the other side. And so I think that's what gives us a little bit of an advantage to really be able to empathize with how you run your business and what kind of support you need and when you need it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just a reminder, if you do need help of any kind, you can also contact our help desk, help@gtonetwork.com, and put help in the subject line. And then our development team goes and divvies those up depending upon what your request is. And then we can go ahead and help you with that. And the sun's coming in behind me in my window. I don't really have a halo on. I know it looks like it,
but it's the perfect way to end this Coach and Go is with that sun coming in.
Absolutely. And just a reminder that GTO Coach and Go does happen every other Tuesday at 2:00 Eastern time. So make sure to join us, and we will give you more information. Thank you for your time today. I know Angelica and I like to talk. We're sales and member engagement people, so
yeah,
we do enjoy speaking. But thank you so much for joining us today. And if you do need any more information, by all means, reach out to any of us at GTO. We'd be more than happy to help you out. So thanks, everybody, and we will talk to you soon.
Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you for watching this episode of GTO Coach and Go. We invite you to stay connected with Group Travel Odyssey on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and be sure to check out more of our media, including Destination Dispatch and the Destinations Beyond Expectations podcast. Please visit our website, grouptravelodyssey.com, where you can learn more about GTO and request a demo. Group Travel Odyssey, business without boundaries.